Hello and welcome back to Art Masters with me, Mrs. Portilla. Today we'll be working with pop artist or popular art artist Roy Lichtenstein. Now what he liked to do is he liked to create dots. He would actually use a stencil with dots and paint over it to make very interesting backgrounds. So if you look behind me at his art here, you'll see he used dots for his background. He was also a commercial artist, which means he created art to be used in magazines and posters and other print. And when you're doing art for print and commercial, you want it to be very bold and bright. A lot of times there's a lot of contrast. The shapes should be interesting and filling up the space, and the colors and maybe some patterns. So today we'll be doing a still life, which is an arrangement of non-living things like ice cream. We'll be doing an ice cream sundae. So go ahead and get your supplies and we'll get started. Grab your yellow sheet of paper and you can go ahead and move the rest of your items aside, and we're going to save that for later. So this is going to be what we put our ice cream sundae on. So this is going to be in the background. So we're going to make a design with our scissors. We could either cut it straight. This is going to be up to you. So let's watch first, and then you can do a design that you like. And remember, we're not going to get rid of any of our negative space scraps because that stuff is very interesting and we could use it for later. So we could do a couple of straight lines all the way across, different widths or sizes. We could also do some other shapes. So I'm cutting in different diagonal directions all the way across the paper. You see how I'm holding the paper carefully, and then I'm cutting different patterns. So go ahead and grab your scissors and your yellow paper, and we're going to create different patterns for our background, just like this sample. We're going to put our yellow down, and then we'll eventually put our ice cream sundae dish on top. Now that you have your yellow strip cut, we're going to grab our white piece of paper and our glue stick. But before we glue, we're going to arrange. So we're going to place our yellow strips towards the bottom of our paper and kind of arrange it how we like. The reason we aren't going to glue it is because that way we can make changes if we don't like it. So I'm going to put together my pieces kind of like a puzzle, but instead of having them right next to each other, I'm going to leave a little bit of space. So that is some negative space that's shining through, and the yellow is our positive space. So I'm going to put together my yellow pieces like a puzzle. And I don't even have to use all of them. I'm not going to use this piece, but I'm going to save it for later. So go ahead and arrange your yellow pieces like a puzzle, leaving white space in between, and then flip it over and go ahead and glue them down. Now we're going to grab our dotted paper that Roy Lichtenstein liked to use in his popular art or pop art. So we're going to grab our black rectangle paper, the small one, and our small dotted paper. And I'm going to move aside our other sheet. So I have my papers overlapping. Then I'm going to fold both of the papers together in half. I like to pinch the edge and then pinch the fold. Okay, so did you guys see how I did that? I have both papers. I folded it over, pinched the side. Now we're going to do our ice cream dish. Who likes ice cream? I like ice cream. And instead of eating it right out of the tub, we're going to eat it out of a dish. And our dish or bowl, we're going to do some round swirly shapes. And does anyone know the reason we fold it? The reason we fold it is it makes our bowl symmetrical, which means it'll be even on both sides. So I'm going to hold the folded part with my pinchy fingers. I'm going to start at the bottom. You could start right at the corner, or you could give it a little bit of space. I think I'm going to do a little bit of space. And then I'm going to make some kind of S curves like this. And you see, I'm not just going straight up. I'm going diagonal because I want it to flower out like a bowl. Curve. And I want to make sure I keep going towards this edge. I want to get all the way to this corner. Don't throw these away. We could use them for later. So now I have my shape. I'm going to unfold it. And hopefully it looks kind of like a dish. So go ahead and grab your black paper and your dotted paper, fold it, and then cut it with kind of rolling swirl patterns, and you want to flare out to the edge. Now that we have our ice cream dish cut out and our scraps, those are important, we're going to glue our dish onto our white paper. So remember, we're going to overlap the yellow. So this could be like our table, like an abstract table. So we're going to put our dots down because Roy Lichtenstein, he's very popular for his dots. That's what he created. So we're going to arrange first without glue. And we're going to overlap. So I'm going to overlap my dots onto my yellow. You could put it on either side, lower, higher, but you want to make sure you overlap the yellow. So I'm going to take my glue stick, flip over the dots, because we want the dots to be showing. And we're going to glue down our dots. Overlap your yellow. Make sure you're on the white paper. You don't want to go over. Okay, now we're going to take our black and we're going to overlap the yellow and the dots. But you see how I'm not covering it? We want to make sure we see the dots. That's what makes it interesting. Okay, so I'm going to glue my dish on top of the dots and the yellow. So we're overlapping. So I'm on top of the dots, I'm on top of the yellow. Now we're going to push down. Nice job. Now here comes the fun part, making our ice cream. We don't even need a pencil. We're going to use the negative shapes. So this is the scraps from my cut when I cut the dish. See how it fits right there? And when I flip it over, it looks like ice cream. So go ahead and grab your dish and your dots. You're going to overlap the yellow, and then you're going to put the black one over the dots, and you're going to use your negative space from your dish to make an ice cream scoop and glue everything down. So everyone should have a beautiful looking ice cream layout. So now we're going to add some fun stuff. We're going to take our red paper, fold it in half. So we're going to pinch the edge and then smush it down. And I'm going to cut this in half. And now I made it easy and I have a line to follow. So go ahead and cut your paper in half. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm gonna make the best thing to go on top of ice cream, cherries. So with graphic art and commercial art, big, bold colors contrasting with each other really popped and looked nice when they would print in magazines. So we're going to make some nice big bold cherries, and we're going to simplify the cherry by just cutting a circle. That's the basic shape of a cherry, a circle. And you don't even have to make a perfect circle because most cherries are not perfect circles. And again, I'm just going to arrange. I'm not going to glue. I'm just going to set down. So watch what I'm doing first, and then you guys will do it after. So I'm going to cut another cherry, and I might make this one a little smaller. So I'm just cutting a circle, and you can fix your edges if you don't like it. You see how I'm making it kind of a big circle? Now, I'm going to overlap that. I also want some stems on my cherries. So I'm taking the other half of my red paper and just cutting a little strip. It could be straight, it could be a little diagonal, whatever you want. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fold my stem, make a V. Maybe I might stick it right there. Okay, you could get creative. And I think we might need a spoon to eat our ice cream. So now we're going to cut out some shapes and we're going to glue them. So thank you for joining me today and doing our still life pop art or popular culture art. I hope that you really enjoyed doing your work and that you can now look at your work and notice where you used your negative space, how you have bright contrast, and how everything is balanced. So we hope that you enjoyed yourself, and we will see you next time on Art Masters.